Hey, what's up, family? I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are
Two Crazy Ketos. Today we're going to talk about net carbs versus total carbs.
And we'll talk about it
right after this. So recently we made the switch from tracking net carbs to tracking total carbs.
I wasn't super excited about that.
And we've done it for a few reasons, and we've talked about it in some of our videos. First, before we even get into it, let's talk about what net carbs are. So net carbs are where you take the total carbohydrates in a product, and then you subtract the fiber, and you subtract the sugar alcohols. And
there is a lot of room for subjection in there.
Well, here's the number one problem. The number one problem is the term net carbohydrates is under no regulation from the government. So like there are a lot of regulations as far as nutrition labels. They're also given a lot of leeway. Like there could be up to a 20% difference in what they put on that nutrition label.
Woo.
You know, if something has less than 1 carbohydrate, they can put 0. So there's all kinds of little regulations, but there's no regulations on the term net carbohydrates because here in the United States, we don't have a net carbohydrates on a nutrition label. When you go over to Europe, they do have net carbs, but we don't have it here. But the bottom line is net carbohydrates is nothing more than a marketing gimmick from companies to get us to buy their products.
It's been around for a long time, like back when Atkins was
from
first,
Atkins. Because,
like in its heyday.
You know, Atkins was the same thing. Well, you don't have to worry about fiber. So someone came up with the term net carbohydrates. But there's a problem with it. The problem is that a lot of the products, not all products, but there are a lot of products which are being marketed to us as low carb or keto people or even Atkins people that use a product like IMO fiber, which has, I cannot pronounce the name, so I'm not even going to attempt to. I'll put it right here across the screen. It actually was in that Eat Good Fats bar. Remember, there was one term where I for some reason spaced because we were exhausted being in Texas.
It was like tetra,
but yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
It's IMO fiber. So IMO fiber was originally believed to not have an impact on your body, but it does.
It does.
And you can't subtract all that fiber. But what happens is if somebody looks at it, and even when they tell you, well, 3 net carbs, they're subtracting that because it's labeled as fiber, but your body does partially at least digest it. So they say you really should only, you shouldn't subtract more than half of it.
Yeah.
So if you have something like an Atkins bar, not an Atkins bar, but the old Quest bars, or even that Eat Good Fat bar, if it's got 12 grams of fiber, you should really only be subtracting no more than 6 grams.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is IMO fiber has I think it's like a 35 on the glycemic index, if I remember right. You know, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it was something like 34, 35.
Significant.
Yeah. The other product that they put in a lot of them is like maltitol, which maltitol is almost as bad for you as sugar when it comes to impacting your glucose. But it's a sugar alcohol, so people subtract it.
Get away with
but it is going to skyrocket your blood sugar.
And, you know, I loved the math when the math is in my favor. And we could take even the things that we make at home, usually they're desserts or they're snacks, right? And we could take something that had like 40, you know, total carbs in it and bring it down to like 2 carbs.
We can do a lot worse than 40. I mean, and that's the problem is that there are so many products where, you know, they're playing these games with fiber. I mean, we actually found the burrito wraps.
They're like injecting it with fiber.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to accuse them of anything, but I found it very interesting that their low carb wrap had more total carbohydrates than their non-low carb wrap, and the low carb wrap had fiber, but the non-low carb. So I don't want to accuse them, but it's kind of suspicious when I see, like, you know, how does the low carb one have more fiber than the other one and more carbohydrates? Like a lot more carbohydrates. It wasn't like 2 more carbohydrates. It was like 20 more carbohydrates.
Yeah. So we decided to go ahead and do total carbs.
Right.
And again, I didn't like that at first because I want to lie. I want to sneak around, right? This is why you've caught me a million times, like during the course of our marriage, like eating Reese's peanut butter cups in the bathroom. Like I like to sneak food, and sometimes the net carbs gave me permission to have a lot more snack food and desserts in my diet.
Right, because we could easily take, I mean, you talk about 40, you can easily take 100 total carbs and turn it into less than 20 net carbs.
And this wasn't a problem if you're eating whole food like an egg or bacon or hamburger. We weren't trying to worry about net carbs with the
I don't
stuff we
even
should
worry
be
about it
eating.
as even with so much with vegetables.
Yeah.
It's more with all of the processed foods. And because I can even remember where you used to tell me, like, I want my dessert, so cut out the vegetables so that I can get my dessert, because the desserts were always going to be higher in carbohydrates. A lot of times our dessert, our mug cakes, or eating a little bit of ice cream, like, you know, and those things were usually more carbohydrates than all of the other food we ate for the day. So we were doing 20 net carbs, and you were like, well, I need 15 net carbs for my dessert.
To be nonsense
and
food.
so you have to cram all my vegetables into everything else. And generally what I do is, if we're not just eating, we've shifted a lot more to just eating a lot of ground beef or steak or something like that. And I don't make as many of the recipes where it's like a whole mess of ingredients. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But like we'll make things like curry chicken or something like that. And anytime I do that, I generally try to keep the carbohydrates for that meal like somewhere around 5 or 6. And like I remember you telling me that, like, no, you can't do that because now I have no room for dessert.
Right.
The problem is that we're eating mug cakes that were like 50 carbs, but only like 3 net carbs.
So really during this process, we've mostly cut out like the keto breads, the keto mug cakes. You know, I mean, we still have dessert on Friday, but like it's in its place. It's in dessert. It's not an everyday thing.
Yeah, and again, it's not that we've cut out those things. It's just that we kind of carefully place them now. Like, so we'll make a little keto bread, but
It's been a while since we had that though.
But we're not doing it. Yeah, but I just recently made you one.
Yeah.
But where it used to be like every meal.
Yeah.
Like every meal, we would have like a keto bread with lunch, a keto bread with dinner, and then have a dessert. Whereas now is, you know, if we have a keto bread, we'll make like a mug cake kind of bread where it's just a bread with psyllium husk and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that is like, you know, maybe 7 or 8 carbs.
Right.
But we're not doing that 3 and 4 meals a day.
Yeah, and we're facing those carbs, and we're like, okay, I totally know what's in there, and I'm okay to work it into
you know,
my
it's
diet.
like me. I love bars. Especially, you know, with the schedule that I keep at this time of the year, I love having the bars because like I'll be like not able to eat until later on, so I want a 250 calorie bar, like the keto bars or the perfect keto bars or even a keto brick or something like that. So I can look at like a product like that and be like, okay, it's got 12 carbs. Well, if you go by the old philosophy, and when I first started keto, like Atkins bars, well, 3 net carbs. Well, except for they're like 27 total carbs, and I would eat like 3 of them in a day sometimes.
It's interesting.
And then wonder why I'm stalling.
Right. Well, and it's interesting that, you know, a lot of the bars that have kind of the better holistic organic ingredients tend to also have less of the carbs because there's not so much.
And they're still up there. It depends on what's
artificial sweeteners and all of those things add a lot of extra carbs.
Right.
So, and the worst thing that happens is you're going to get to your weight loss goal quicker.
Right.
Because really the carbs are an obstacle to us. And so the longer we keep them as a crutch, you know, the harder it's going to be on us and the longer that a weight loss goal is going to take. And we're evidence of that. So we've been doing total carbs just since this year. It's the end of February. And I'm definitely somebody that we've talked about a lot that, you know, if I lose a pound in a month, it's like amazing. And here, since the beginning of the year and doing total carbs, we got back from vacation. I've lost 6 pounds this year.
Right.
That's insane, right? And the only thing that's different about our diet is
the total carbs.
The total carbs.
Yeah. So, you know, the thing is that it's not a requirement to do total carbs, but what I'm doing moving forward, anybody who asks me, I'm telling them you should track total carbs or at least a variation of that. And what I mean by a variation of that is anytime you buy any kind of a processed product, if you're going to go and buy a bar, even good bars that like we use, like perfect keto bars or keto bricks or anything like that, you should factor in total carbs because just remember the companies are not in it for you. They're trying to sell you a product and they're going to try to trick you. when it comes to vegetables, things like that, I think you're fine to use net carbs.
Yeah.
But I would not, and you definitely should not be pushing off vegetables and things like that to consume the other stuff. No. But that's where I would definitely start. And again, for us, it was just, we needed a change. And so let's talk about, for just a couple of minutes, like some of the things that we've noticed as a difference to help you make a decision. So I think one of the biggest things that I've noticed is I'm much more careful with what I eat.
Yes.
So, I mean, for example, like, a great example would be something like, again, I love bars. Well, now I can look at a bar like a keto bar if I'm going to a game and be like, okay, I'm eating a keto bar. We're allowing ourselves 25 to 30 total carbs per day.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a good, because everybody knows the 20 number. So our new number
we're doing 25 to 30. There's other people like 80 keto that are still trying to stay 20 to 25. Now, if I go up to 33, 34, I don't freak out because I know those total carbs are including fiber. Most of the time they're vegetables because we're pretty much not eating a whole lot of processed food other than maybe a once in a blue moon bar or like having some ice cream or something like that on Friday. Mm-hmm. But, so we try not to go, we try to stay 25 to 30. Normally, we're down in the teens. And there's a lot of days where we don't eat vegetables and we're like in the single digits, like 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, and it's not like we're trying to work out vegetables. It's just, usually it's just a day where it's been crazy and...
But pre-total carbs, like I didn't even think about it. I just looked at the net carbs. And I'm like, okay, that fits. Like, it's only 2 net carbs, even though I've already eaten 16 carbs for the day. That's only 2 net carbs, and not thinking about the fact that of like all of these other ingredients, even if it wasn't IMO fibers, those things are still going to affect you somehow. Like erythritol still has an impact on your body because there are calories. It may not it may not raise your blood sugar,
right?
But it's going to affect you, especially if you're consuming a lot of it.
Well, and they're really largely centered around snack food and dessert stuff and like bread replacements.
When you start cutting out, especially the snack foods, not so much the bread, but the snack foods, when you start cutting that out, you'll really be shocked at how low your carbs are going to get.
And that's the stuff that we were trying to get away from to begin with.
Right.
Right? Like even when I got onto the keto diet, I wasn't eating dessert every night. I wasn't even eating like a muffin every single day. And yet I got on the keto diet and was like, oh, okay, well, let's make it. There's a recipe out there. Let's do it. Right. And now not doing that every day, it's like it's okay. But when I got into this lifestyle, I was like, okay, well, I'm leaving bread behind,
right.
So
another thing we've noticed is less bloating. I definitely don't feel as bloated. What are you laughing at?
That is like weird to say publicly, but it is true.
My clothes seem to fit better, and I don't know exactly what it is, but I think it has something to do with the carbohydrates because, again, there were definitely days where we were consuming like 70 or 80 total carbohydrates in the day.
Well, there's a lot of chemicals going on, and they have to have some sort of adverse effect on your body. I mean, certainly, like, all the erythritol we were eating was causing, like, gastrointestinal distress.
Yeah.
After a while, but
and that leads to something else. Another thing we noticed is we don't crave things as many. I think we definitely got into the craving thing where, again, you wanted dessert every single night.
I was getting weirdly hangry, and I don't get hangry anymore.
Yeah.
So I think
definitely think that is really linked to the carbohydrates and not having all of the erythritol. And again, we haven't cut out erythritol. We haven't cut out almond flour. You don't need to cut that out. I think you just need to use smart decisions and be wise about how much you're consuming. And they always talk about like everything in moderation, which I think is nonsense. But I think even in here, like over-consuming anything, over-consuming heavy cream is too much. Over-consuming coffee can be too much, except for in Rachel's.
Never. There's never too much. What's too much?
So, just cutting that back.
Yeah.
And I think the last 2 things we've noticed is we don't worry about the foods we're consuming as much because we're not worried about them.
It's more whole foods.
Tricking us as much.
Yeah. They're, So. I don't like being tricked.
Yeah.
And also there's no more math.
So, but I would say if you're in a stall, if you want to like change things up, consider switching over to total carbs. I've noticed a huge improvement in the way we feel and for all of these different reasons. And eventually I think you'll want to just try different things, and it might be something to consider, especially if you've hit a stall. If you've hit a stall, start taking a look at where are hidden carbs getting in, because we're also not even thinking about all the hidden carbs, like the fact that like eggs never register as a carb, but there's a carb in an egg.
Well, I think about a lot of the condiments.
Yep.
Like I think, you've got like, salad dressings and the low-fat ketchups and barbecue sauces and all that kind of stuff.
All can add up.
And it can really add up.
So that is low carb and stuff, but we figured while we're in this, we have another giveaway that we have to do a drawing for.
I love this one.
So this is some Pili Nut stuff.
Nuts.
So we are giving a package of, this is the raw cacao Pili Nut butter.
It's really good.
And we have the Lion's Mane pumpkin spice one.
That one's even better, I think.
Okay, so these come, by the way, just so you know, these are going to come, they're like a liquid form. If you put them in the refrigerator, they become like almost like a candy bar, but they melt like once you take them out. So you can't, once you put them in the refrigerator, you won't be able to like spread them on something if you want to spread them on something. But we put one in the refrigerator because it was open, and I literally like ended up eating it like a candy bar. So it was really good. So, but think about it, it's like, think about coconut oil. It has the same kind of effect.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not liquid like water at room temperature. It's like a regular butter. But when you refrigerate it, it gets hard. So we have that. And then we have
the actual nuts.
An actual thing of Pili Nuts, a little sample packet of that, and a sample packet of the raw cacao nuts. What happened to our sheet? Oh, it's on my desk. Can you get it?
We'll be back in 2 seconds. And we're back.
Okay, so we have our list. Let me go to random.org. Okay.
We've got 13 peoples.
Okay, so we have 13 people. The smaller one.
Yeah.
Okay, and by the way, we do have a coupon code for Pili Nuts. I think it's 15% off. It's twocrazyketos.com. We have a link down below. And again, when you do use our link, it does help support our channel. It doesn't cost you any more money.
Actually,
also, they're having a sale right now on this flavor, the coconut oil and salt. I got an email. They're doing a sale on it. I think a 1 pound bag is normally like, I think it's normally like $45. It's on sale for $35.
That's a significant
and
savings.
The 1.85 ounce bags were normally $6 a bag, and they're on sale for $4.20. The catch is they have a fresh by date of March 15th, but again, it's a fresh by date. It's not like it'll get you sick afterwards, but they said if you stick them in the refrigerator, it extends it much longer.
Oh, wow.
So if you really are interested in them, I actually just ordered a pound of them.
What are the chances that they're going to stay in our house till March 15th?
Yeah, they won't.
And not be in my belly.
Okay, so we've got 13 names. We're going to put 13 into random.org.
13 peoples.
13. Hit generate. Number 10.
Oh, I like
Jesus Freak.
I like that name.
Yeah. So Jesus Freak. Do us a favor.
Is that somebody from DC Talk?
That's cool. I love that song.
I love DC Talk.
So send us an email at twocrazyketos@gmail.com. Send us your contact information, your address, and we will send this stuff out to you. Again, like I said, if you are interested in it, our coupon code and our link is down below. On that sale, by the way, I don't believe you can, I think they said you're not allowed to use a coupon on it, but you can still use affiliate links, but you can't use a coupon on it, but it's a good deal.
Double, triple up.
Yep. So that is our video for today. Hopefully you guys have learned something. If you like what you saw, do us a favor, hit the like button down below.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, hit the little bell icon, and that way every single time we upload a new video, you'll be alerted to it.
And just a reminder that at 500 subscribers, we are giving away our own put together keto crate of some of our favorite keto products. So
it's gonna be fun.
Continue to share our videos so that we can grow to 500 subscribers.
And thank you guys for watching us.
Yeah, we can't believe we're actually that close.
It's exciting. So until next time, bye.
Bye.